getting ready to watch the firing of a cannon.
Welcome to Fort Macon this afternoon. We've got a kind of a special impromptu cannon shoot for you, so if you're lucky enough just to show up. We've got, what are y'all, the board of directors for?
College of Natural Resources.
College of Natural Resources with NC State's been meeting here today, and we've even got our former director here, so he loves to show off, and we love any excuse to shoot a cannon, so things worked out. What we're going to do for you today, we've got a Model 1841 32-pounder naval cannon. This is a replica of the type of cannon that was here during the war between the states. Fort Macon had 54 cannons here when our battle took place in 1862, and a great many of them were of this type. It's called a 32-pounder because guess how much the cannonball weighed? 32 pounds, you got it. It actually had a range of a little short of a mile, about 6 yards short of a mile, so it could shoot clean across the inlet, almost hit Shackelford Banks over there. That was very important because our fort was made for coastal defense, protecting against enemy ships that might want to come to the port. So any ships coming in between our island, the fort was well equipped to blow them out of the water before they could get to Beaufort or Morehead City and do any damage. These guns were operated by a 5-man cannon crew. I'm part of the crew today, so we've got our 5-man crew up here. You have a number for each person. It starts at the front right with number 1, front left number 2, number 3 on the back right, number 4 me, and then our gunner number 5 standing on the cannon. These are muzzle-loaded cannons, so there's quite a process that you go through to load these things. You don't get to open the back end and insert a shell. It's kind of like an old musket. Everything has to be loaded from the front and rammed down to the back. The position the cannon's in right now is called out of battery. The whole top carriage, we have already rolled it back. This is the loading position. It lets the soldiers in the fort get to the front of the muzzle without having to climb up on the outer wall where they're a bigger target. So the man in charge, the gunner standing up on the top, everything is done by his command. It's loaded by his command, aimed, and fired at his command. So at this point in the process, he would probably give the command, load. Load. Command to load, the number 1 and 2, they work together. Somebody would probably bring number 2, the ammunition charge. We've got it in a box up here, so he's going to run it up. We're not shooting an actual ball today. This is just a blank gunpowder charge of 3 pounds of gunpowder. That is a half charge of what normally would have been used back in the day. They would have used 6 pounds to shoot that 32-pounder ball almost a mile, but we're only going to use half. I don't think y'all will care. It will still be plenty loud enough. Once the charge is put in, you saw them, they brought what's called the rammer out. That rams the cartridge down and makes sure it's seated properly on the bottom. If we were shooting a ball, the ball would next be put in and rammed down also on top. The next step is to roll the cannon into battery. That means we've got to move it forward so it's in the shooting position. This is done with these long wooden poles, hand spikes they're called, that helps move it in and out, and then they would also use it for aiming the cannon also. So now it's in battery, ready to go. Are we going to point? We're going to pretend that we point. Next step would be point or aim. Go back, go left and right. Now the command is ready. So at this point, we're going to put a friction primer in the back. That is what shoots these things off. There's no fuse or wick thing or, Clint Eastwood in his cigar. This is a mechanical detonator that has a rope hook to it. The number 3 gets to fire it. When they pull on the rope, it rips a wire out that ignites the primer, shoots fire down the hole in the back to the gunpowder. That's what sets it off. That's how they did it 150 years ago. That's how we're doing it for you today. Now let me give you one quick bit of warning. Like I said, there are 3 pounds of black powder in this cannon. That will be loud. So if you want to cover your ears, turn off your hearing aids, watch your children, whatever you need to do to prepare for this cannon to go off, don't say I didn't warn you that it would be loud. We all understand. Okay. Go ahead and hold traffic. I love the smell of gunpowder in the afternoon. And that's how they did it. Imagine 54 of these things going off for 11 hours of bombardment, which was 156 years ago yesterday is the anniversary of our battle, so pretty cool stuff.
But that would be a typical uniform of a Confederate infantryman soldier right there.
In your uniform?
And mine's a Federal Artillery first sergeant.
Okay.
Would be this. And then he would be a typical artilleryman. This is what they would have wore at Fort Macon during the siege. And that's one of the things. And he has a North Carolina sack coat is what that's called. You know, piped in red with the red cuffs red on the top. And the typical kersey blue trousers that, you know, most of the infantry and artillery did.
We got lucky today in watching the cannon firing. Apparently they found out about an hour beforehand that there were some people from North Carolina state who were coming, and the main person who was coming used to be the head of the state parks, and so he requested a cannon firing. So they scrambled together and did a cannon firing. Normally they do this every Wednesday at about 4 o'clock, and there are a few hundred people here. Today we lucked out. There were only about 65 of us here, so we got a very private cannon firing. Can you explain what this thing is that's next to us? Is this a pizza oven that they used to use?
Why no, this is actually a replica of the hot shot furnace that was used at Fort Macon. It was originally built around 1836, and it was used to heat the cannonballs before they were loaded into the cannon. They were used with non-explosive shells and used against wooden ships. The furnace would start by putting the cannonballs up here, and they would roll down over the fire and be withdrawn from behind where you're standing.
So why would they want to heat the cannonballs?
Well, the cannonballs would be heated to over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and then would be loaded in the cannon. And the whole idea was against a wooden ship. It would help set the ship on fire.
Oh.
It was made obsolete when the ironclad vessels came in, and that was at the end of the Civil War. And these were actually dismantled. There were 2 of these furnaces here at the fort prior to the Civil War. The one which is here, and then there was one on the outer wall where the cannon were outside the fort walls.
Okay. Pizzas would have been more fun though.